Hi, I want to see if I can do a 10-minute or less preview of the upcoming Women's World Cup, which kicks off for the United States women's national team this Friday. Um, I have been following this team a long time, certainly since they won in 1999, and then I've been following them, I think, pretty closely since their historic run in the 2011 World Cup, where they lost in an epic final to Japan, which was a team of destiny that year. Then we won in 2015, we won in 2019, and we now have the unprecedented opportunity to three-peat in 2023. This is going to be a high mountain and a huge ask. I think the team has said they're not thinking about the three-peat, but man, that's got to be in the back of somebody's mind as far as the historic opportunity that represents. And this is a team, these are players who are always looking to push the envelope and create history and advance the game. So I think certainly the veterans are thinking about it, even if they won't admit it. A lot of changes since 2019. We have a new coach. We have Vlatko Andonovski takes over for Jill Ellis. The players really seem to like him. I am looking forward to seeing how he gets them clicking in attack. I'll talk about that in a bit. Let me talk about first the roster and what I expect to be the default lineup. This is of course going to be subject to change based on a ton of factors, injuries, game plans. But I think the default lineup is going to be this: Alyssa Nair in goal, Crystal Dunn at left wing back or three, Naomi Girma, Alana Cook, Emily Fox, Andy Sullivan, Lindsey Horan. 10 is a huge question mark for me. I think Ashley Sanchez will start there, but the best 10 that we have is Rose Lavelle. She's working her way back from injury. Sophia Smith, Alex Morgan, and probably Trinity Rodman, who scored 2 in the send-off game and, in my opinion, earned a start at the World Cup. That's what I think is going to be the default or base lineup, but I think the big question marks for this team in terms of personnel are at the 6. Is it Andy Sullivan or is it Julie Ertz? And Ertz is clear of Sullivan. I think she does a lot of things better than Sullivan. I think she's more mobile than Sullivan. She's better in the air. She's, I think, a more vocal leader. But Ertz has been working her way back into form. So Sullivan probably gets the start there. And then this position at the 10, Rose Lavelle is clear of both Ashley Sanchez and Savannah DeMello. However, Rose Lavelle has been working her way back from injury. So it's a huge question mark. If Ertz and Lavelle are able to give this team 60, 75 minutes a game, that will transform this team and make it more like it was in 2019. But if they're unable to do that, then there are more question marks. I think it does weaken the team overall. I expect us to play our standard 4-3-3. I expect against weaker teams, like our first game against Vietnam, I think Sullivan will probably be fine as a lone 6 or single pivot. Against better teams, Horan might need to play as more of a double pivot and let us play more of a 4-2-3-1 to help Sullivan out, a 4-2-3-1. But I think Horan will want to get forward like she does. She likes to be a box-to-box midfielder and make deep line runs, get on the ends of services in the box. She'll be able to do that with much more freedom if Julie Ertz is fit and able to cover the ground that she covers at the 6. Ertz really, when she's playing well, she is kind of unique in her ability to do that for this team. Since 2019, they've struggled with filling that role. And no offense to Sullivan, but she's not Julie Ertz. And in fact, if I have a concern about this team, it is the central defense. I think Girma is excellent. She's young, but she's smart. She's like a Becky Sauerbrunn, who unfortunately is out due to injury. But she is young. She's quick. She's a good tackler. She's not huge, Cook is very tall by contrast, but Cook is prone to errors and will have to keep things very simple. And of concern is that these are the only two true center backs on the roster. Ertz can play there in a pinch. I think Emily Sonnet can play there in a pinch. But to me, the most important dark horse player on this roster is Naomi Girma, because if she gets into yellow card trouble or injury trouble, we don't have a good answer for that. I think Girma is the most important player in terms of keeping our defense organized and therefore our structure and our confidence going forward organized. I think differences between this team and 2019, the only players on this team who started the 2019 final and are likely to start now are Morgan, Dunn, and Nair. Everything else is probably going to be different unless Ertz and Lavelle are able to go and start. So that's a lot of turnover. The exciting thing is this attack. When you look at this attack, I don't think they're as experienced individually or collectively as those great teams of 2011 through 2019, but they are fast and they are fearless. I expect them to take people on and try to beat people on the dribble with their pace and with their creativity. I expect that out of all of them, and really it's amazing the depth we have on this roster in terms of attacking when you consider that players like Mallory Swanson, Katarina Macario, and Kristen Press are not on this roster due to injury. And to be able to just come in and reload and have Sophia Smith, Trinity Rodman, Alyssa Thompson, Lynn Williams, and of course Alex Morgan still in your frontline rotation, that shows the remarkable depth this team has, but they are not as experienced together. And of course you also have Megan Rapinoe, who will be playing the role of the offensive sub, the wily veteran. She's still the best striker of the ball on the team, but she's older and not going to be given as many minutes as she used to by any means. I think you bring her in late when you need good service on set pieces and for penalty kicks. I expect this team to struggle in breaking down low blocks. Like I've got red set up in a 4-4-1-1 low block. I expect Vietnam, maybe Portugal in our group to have to defend lower like that and make us earn it. And I think how we do that is going to be interesting because, number one, I don't think that Smith and Rodman are as good at crossing the ball as Rapinoe or Kristen Press at Tobin Heath, Mallory Swanson. I don't think they're as good at crossing the ball as those ladies. And Alex Morgan is not, she's good in the air, but she's not Abby Wambach in the air. So I don't think we are world class in terms of just serving balls into the box and finishing them with our heads or with volleys. I think this team's going to have to take people on, and it's going to be interesting and exciting to see how we do that. I think we're going to be in a lot of close games. I think they're going to struggle, as they traditionally do, to break down a low block. Having a Rose Lavelle in there, having a Julie Ertz in there who can then give the freedom to a Lindsay Horan to get forward would certainly help. But I'm concerned about this team's ability to break down a low block unless players like our wings are able to succeed on their dribbles, draw a defender, slot it to somebody else for the finish. I'm also concerned about our central defense, especially if Cook makes mistakes. If Sullivan gets matched up against faster players, then I think we're in trouble. I expect this team to make a good run. I expect them to get to the semifinals, but unless they're really dealing with injuries and their form really well, I think we're going to struggle and probably go out, unfortunately, against a Spain or a Sweden in the semifinals. I could be wrong, and I will never bet against this team, but I think that we're kind of a little slow adjusting to the generational shift, and we've had some really bad luck with injuries. So I think we get to the semifinals. Anything beyond that will be a result of just great play and adapting to it on their part. Thanks. Hope you enjoyed it.